right, guys, welcome to Looper Talk, solo episode. My name is Tim Palmer, and today we're going to talk about the National Links Trust and what they have done. And they are currently in a situation with Donald Trump. So before we get into that, I want to talk about the Country Club. The Country Club is an online community. It is meant for golfers, business men or women, pretty much anything or anybody that wants to be a part of this a country club atmosphere. This would be a good spot to do it. Again, it's online. I'll send the link below in the description. Feel free to join. It's $1 a day, 365. You get golf tips, you get some business knowledge, maybe some advice, consulting, counseling, whatever you need. But if you want access to a country club community, instead of having to pay a huge initiation fee at a golf course, you can get one online. Pretty cool. And we just had a meeting earlier, and it worked out really cool. Very excited about it. Okay, now let's talk about the National Links Trust. And I have some notes here, so you're going to see me going back and forth through my computer because it is a very in-depth situation, and it's a situation that has sort of got me pissed off in a way. And of course, as y'all know, I tend to love to find things that seem to be either controversial or people don't want to talk about out loud. So here I am. First, let's talk about what the National Links Trust is. Again, I told you. So they're a nonprofit organization out of Washington, D.C. There is 3 public muni courses there. One is East Potomac Golf Course, Langston Golf Course, and Rock Creek Park Golf Course. These 3 courses originated in the 1920s. I believe it was East Potomac. That was a William Flynn design, or maybe he redesigned. So there's a lot of history there. There were some of the original munis on the East Coast that really helped embody that municipal movement within the golf world. And then Langston Golf Course, that was the course that would allow African Americans to play golf, and because they weren't able to access a country club. So a guy by the name of 𝐕𝐢𝐝𝐷, as you know, he played on the professional tour. He came from there. So in essence, there's a lot of history with these courses. Asheville Municipal, where I'm from, came out in the same time, was created at the same time frame as these. And so this story sort of hit home for me. And I just couldn't believe my eyes when I read through it all. And I'm very upset with what's going on here. So what is the National Links Trust? It is a nonprofit organization. They were an organization that was planned on restoring, preserving, and operating these golf courses. Again, East Potomac, Langston Golf Course, and Rock Creek. And what happened was they formed in 2019, and in 2020, National Park Service, who were in charge of preserving and maintaining these courses, gave this National Links Trust a 50-year lease. Now, the guys that were co-founding the National Links Trust is Will Smith, not the Will Smith, a different Will Smith, and Tucker Booth. Now, there's multiple people involved in this. Those are your 2 main names, but we have many people on the board. I think a guy, 𝐖𝐸𝐿𝐻𝐿, who owns Bandon Dunes, where I work, I believe he was a part of this as well. And so once they got the 50-year lease, 2 architects, Gil Hands and Tom Doak, decided to help restore these courses, and they did it pro bono. And so what this really did is this created a movement of public golf, and that it should matter, and it's as equivalent to private golf, and preserving these muni courses and bringing history back to life through the public golf sector. That was really important to them. And not only that, they wanted to have accessibility to a public golf course that was, 1, affordable for these people to play, but 2, that these golf courses were maintained and well kept up. And that's usually the whole muni. That's the whole muni outlook to begin with, is to make golf accessible and affordable for everybody, regardless of your social class. And that is a huge part of my heart, and that is something I'm very emotionally invested in when it comes to the golf world. Because again, I grew up at a muni course, and to see a nonprofit organization like this go into a big city like Washington D.C. and preserve these courses that have a lot of history to them, that's what the game is about. That is exactly what it's about. Because as we all know, when we are hitting a golf ball, that golf ball and that golf club does not give a shit where you come from, who you are, how athletic you are. All it cares about is when that ball meets the face, that reaction right there. And so that is the game of life, and that is why we all love it. And so the whole reason why the National Links Trust decided to take this 50-year lease and to do all this, because these courses were deteriorating. They were not in good shape, and they brought these architects hands in, and they got all these investors, and they invested quite a bit of money. I think it was a couple million, maybe a little more, and they brought these courses back to life. And they brought in junior programs. They gave people jobs. They restored some of the community that was around these courses, because the courses were back up and running in good shape. And so it gave people hope. It gave them life, and it really embodied that public golf culture. And again, that's something very dear to me. And it's been really cool to read this story about how a lot of guys with money all came together and decided to restore these courses, and they were creating fundraisers for them. They're using their own pocket money. You had 2 architects that were big time architects, and they did it for no cost. And so that just shows you right there the integrity of these people and what it meant to them. And that is just such a cool thing. Yeah, and that's pretty much what the National Links Trust was, or it is still going on, is they created this nonprofit organization to help restore these courses, and they used people and resources within the golf community to do that. And that message was to bring public golf back into the forefront of that community, and to give people the idea that public golf did matter, and accessibility with that also mattered, right? And I think that's it's just huge on them for them to do that. Okay, so this is where it gets a little intense. In the latter part of 2025, so this is 5 years down the road, they've been running these operations. They've been given money. They're fundraising. So everything's really cooking well here. Well-oiled machine. Everybody's really enjoying what's going on. Well, the Trump administration decided to look into their lease, and then they said, well, looks like the National Links Trust isn't holding up to their obligations of the lease. So they went ahead and terminated the lease. Now, from what I've wrote down, I don't know really why they terminated the lease. I think they said they were not fulfilling the obligations of the lease, which I don't know why. To me, it just sounds like a bunch of government bullshit. Typical. But this is what I got out of it. So currently, the golf courses are at a standstill. There's no restoration going on. There's this National Links Trust is at a they're pinned down. They can't do anything because the Trump administration, what was it? They completely just destroyed the lease, and now they're in a lawsuit. They're in it's a federal court situation, I believe, or whatever. They're in court about it. And so Trump now he's talking about building one of these golf courses into a US Open venue, or a venue that's going to host the Ryder Cup. And there's some quotes of some of his advisors saying how it's Trump's mission to restore DC and make it a more of a affluent community and all this other bullshit. And there's really not much to say, man. So what ends up happening is you have the president of the United States finding, and this is my opinion, he's finding pieces of land that are golf courses, and he's seeing an investment opportunity for them. So instead of allowing the public to have accessibility to golf in his area, he wants to see it as a way for him to make money. And so he could give a fuck less about preserving the history of those golf courses and really understanding the public golf sector. Because we all know Donald Trump has a shitload of golf courses, but he wants to sit here and destroy a lease. Again, the National Links Trust, which is a nonprofit organization that is simply trying to help these communities benefit, and he wants to take it under his own wing to create premier public golf that can host a U.S. Open venue. Now, fucking tell me something here. How much you think those tee times are going to cost? Because right now they're under $100. Shit, they're probably somewhere between 50 to 80 bucks would be my guess. And now you have the president of the United States. He wants to come in and wave his little wand, which we all know he has plenty of golf courses to do this shit on. But he wants to go take away courses that were built over 100 years ago and wave his little fucking wand and say, well, yeah, these could be really nice venues. And so then he wants to buy the place, puts the stamp on it so he can have a U.S. Open venue that's looking over the East Potomac River and fuck the history of these places, right? He don't give a shit. Now, please explain to me the ethics of that. What exactly are you doing? Are you really in it for the community? Because you're the fucking president of our United States. You're supposed to be for the people. That's your goddamn job, dude. That's what we pay you to do, is to preserve humanity within our country. That's the whole point. Not fucking make money off of them. It's the least you can do is sit there, talk to the maintenance crews, talk to the members that have been a part of these golf courses for a long period of time. See what they do. See the impact that those courses have done for them. Just actually sit there at Langston and talk to the black people and see what kind of history they have there. Because black people didn't have many places to go back then, let alone at a golf course. And now they're able to go to a golf course, which they had since the beginning of it. And you're willing to take that away because you want to create some premier public golf so you can host PGA tournaments? Fuck you. Sorry. Dude, you suck. And that's what's ironic is I don't vote. I don't want to get political, but I am not a liberal. I can guarantee you that. I'm not really conservative either. I'm very neutral. I don't like both sides of the fence. Really, I don't trust the government at all. Fuck them. I don't give a shit. I'm not getting into that. But now we have the government, the administration, messing around with muni golf courses, and we're trying to ruin the history of that because you want to make money? Dude, come on. Can you not just leave it alone? Just let them be. Understand what they're trying to do. They've raised money to help out with these golf courses, man. Like what obligation, what was so bad about the lease, man? The National Park Service gave them a 50-year lease to help preserve, restore, and make these courses accessible for the public. And that's exactly what they did. It wasn't because you wanted to make up an excuse so that you could find a way to make more money. I mean, you're a fucking billionaire. Miriam Adelson gave you $200 million for your campaign in 2024, dude. Like, what more money do you fucking need, son? It's not going to be a long episode because that's all I have to say. And for you all, what you should do is you should look this up. And if any lawyers are watching this, and if you have any balls, I would maybe help these guys at the National Links out. The National Links Trust out. Excuse me. Because this is pathetic to me. This is beyond pathetic. If we keep continuing on these roads where golf is no longer accessible and we just want it to be a rich man's sport, which it kind of is. I mean, look how much Q School is. Look at the professional golf sector. You wonder why most of the people are watching YouTube golf lately. Well, because we don't want to watch trust fund kids and their robotic bullshit, on the PGA Tour. It's a boring fucking product. Why do you think Live Golf is failing? Dude, it's the same shit. Why do you think the PGA Tour has an open discussion with PIF? They have never concluded that discussion. It's still wide the fuck open. And they're cutting tournaments and they're they're cutting employees. They're basically destroying the schedule and they're adding these signature events that don't even have a cut. But yet the guys who run the majors, they want to gatekeep the OWGR. This is turning into a bunch of, oh, this is the we're part of the gentleman's club. Everybody's part of this club. Well, you guys are not, but yeah, if you're a part of this club, you could, da 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 da. What's that one quote? It's a big fucking club and you're not part of it. That sounds about right. Sorry, I know this is kind of a rant of an episode, but dude, man, unfucking believable, huh? You have the president of the United States forcing these muni courses to go through a lawsuit because a nonprofit organization is trying to preserve them and help them out. And yet this dude wants to make them into a US Open venue. Fuck you. Sorry. That's all I got to say. It's absolutely brutal. And I know you can't lead with emotion. We have to lead with intelligence. But part of my podcast is to tell y'all how it is. And I don't care. It does not affect me at all. We have freedom of speech in this country for a reason, and they're not going to take that away from us. And we are allowed to voice our opinions and we are allowed to tell people how it is. And if people can't handle that truth, fine. And by the way, please, I'm okay with admitting that I'm wrong. It's fine. I'm not here to be right. I'm here to find the truth. End of discussion, Mac Butcher. I'm okay with admitting I'm wrong, but you can't sit here and call me a narcissist and criticize me when that's just not how it goes. So, anyways, I think if you're listening to this, please look into the National Links Trust. It's it's something that needs to be talked about, and I think we as a golf community need to get behind this, and we need to really embody what this National Links Trust is doing, and that's making golf accessible again. And that's just where it needs to be, and that's how things need to go. So, thanks again for listening to Looper Talk. My name is Tim Palmer. Again, sorry to be political there for all you politicians or political people. Hey, we can talk politics. I'm not very good at it. It's not my lane, but thank y'all for listening. And let's hope that maybe the Trump administration can pull back on this and allow the National Links Trust to continue doing what they're doing, because what they're doing is what we need in this golf community, more or less. Yeah. Thanks again for listening, Looper Talk. My name is Tim Palmer, and don't forget, lighten your bags, 200 a strap. Y'all have a good night.